As you saw from the title of this video, we're going to be working with jewel tones today, which makes me really excited. And as you can see, I'm already wearing my face makeup, which makes me slightly less excited. So get ready to see Fallout Central. I have a feeling. Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by today. I am excited for another BYOP, and yes, today we're going to be doing a jewel tone palette. If you are new to this series, my friend Kara and I decided to challenge ourselves to a monthly theme to keep us using our single eyeshadows, to help us use the stash we have, and I have really enjoyed this. It's been over a year now, and we've had some great creators join in. We've had Kinder Morgan Official, Lock Maiden, Stephen Ford, and anyone who is joining in today that I know of, I will have their videos linked down below, so make sure that you check them out. But today, again, is all about those jewel tones. I think this is perfect, tipping into the fall and winter. We're gonna see some yummy tones. I really tried to create a palette that would honestly be something that I'd be wanting to pick up if I saw it in store. So I'm gonna show you all the swatches. We'll have a little chit chat, a little chatter about sparkly things, as you know we like to do here. And of course, I'll be creating a look with this palette. I'm really excited to dive in, but if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos like more BYOPs. So if you are into jewel tones, or if you just want to see me potentially get fallout all over my face, keep on watching. We're gonna dive in right now. All right, now last year around this time, we decided to do a spooky palette. So I will make sure to have that video linked down below, but we're trying to do something different as time goes on. I can't believe we've been doing this for over a year now. So while sometimes we like to do themes centered around like the time of year that it is, or, you know, what's really trending, sometimes we just want to get creative with it. And I thought that, you know, doing jewel tones, I've been seeing a lot of palettes that are sort of having those rich, deep tones, having a little bit more color in them, thank goodness. And so we thought that this would be a fun one to dive in with you today. So I'm really excited to share this with you. So I'm just going to give you a little peek at my palette and we will dive into the swatches. Now, here is my palette. I have to say, I'm telling you, I really struggled with this. I struggled with it way more than I thought I would. I think I say this every single time. Where I thought I was going to go with this palette is not necessarily where I went with it. I also realized that I don't have a lot of like just shimmer, just foil shadows anymore. A lot of my collection is multi-chrome or at least duochrome. And that makes it really tricky because sometimes you pull out a shade that you haven't used in a while and you're like, oh yeah, that looks great. And you swatch it and you're like, the shift on that is so strong that I feel like it becomes a completely different color or whatever it may be. So I had swatches all over my arm when I was getting ready to do this one. It was a challenge. I like what I came up with, and honestly, I feel like this is well balanced for my needs and my desires, and I'm excited because I do think it's something that I would truly use. I try to challenge myself to pull out shades that I haven't been using recently or ones that maybe you all forgot about, but also create a palette that I would actually use. All right, so we're gonna zoom on in. I'm gonna give you swatches of all these and then we'll go ahead and create a look. I'm really excited to use this one. All right, here is another look at my little palette. I really like her. I think she's jewel toned. She's a little bit grungy. She's a little bit vibrant, kind of like me. I will try to have these linked down below. I'll for sure have the names linked down below if I can't get to doing the links to the shadows. I've been cramming in a lot of content this week. I've been trying to get a lot filmed for all of you, so I'm not sure if I'll have the links up, but if I do, they will be down there. We're gonna start in this top left corner here, and this is the last shade that I chose out, and honestly, this one was flip-flopped several times. So here we have the shade Acrylic Ice. This is a beautiful Glam Shop shade, and I wanted to put a purple into this set, but if you know me, I don't wear a ton of purples. I thought I would have, you know, more of like a deep, like darker amethyst tone, but there was just nothing that was like tripping my trigger. So I like the fact that this one, you know, still has a bit of light to it. Okay, I'm turning down my light just a little bit so you can see. So I like the fact that this one, and again, you'll see in the up close swatches, but it's really like a nice mid-tone purple with this beautiful reflect, this shift of like a pink. So some of these multi-chromes, to me, it really brought on the faceting of a jewel, you know, like that like really shimmery essence. And I really like this one. I always try to balance out, because that's what I like in a palette. I like to balance out some light tones, some mid tones, and some, you know, some deeper shading tones. So I hope I did a good job. Speaking of deeper shading tones, this was one that I knew that I wanted to include. I don't think I've used this one yet. I got this in the Sydney Grace mystery bag sale. This is the shade Let's Cuddle. Hopefully you can see there. It's a beautiful, like deep, gorgeous I mean like that deep, deep sapphire shade. So this one, I have some shades in my collection that are, you know, like brighter blues, maybe more of those like typical jewel tones, but I wanted something, I mean, if I am going to wear a blue look, it has to have quite a bit of depth to it. I'm just finding that like, I like a good, you know, like deeper moment. And this has a lot of sheen and shine to it, but it doesn't have the sparkle. So I thought that would really balance out, honestly. I mean, I think this would make just a really great smoky eye with like one of the mattes in here. I think it would be a really quick, easy look. So I really like that one. Ooh, you can see here, like, yummy. I love that shade. And spoiler alert, I do think I really want to use that one in this look because I haven't touched it yet. So if you're like me and you got the bag, the blue bag in the mystery sale, and you haven't used that one yet, you're like, what am I going to do with this one? Maybe today will help you. So stay tuned for the look. or maybe I'll teach you what not to do. Who knows? So this one, I'm pretty sure that I featured in another Build Your Own palette. This is the shade Bambi from Devinah Cosmetics. This is just a beautiful, like, warm but not too orangey matte. I just wanted like a good, I put in here one light, one mid-tone, and one deep matte. I just thought that, you know, to have options for blending, and I think that this will, you know, really work well with a lot of the shades in this palette. So I've also talked before about how I think that the Devinah mattes, they can be built up, but they can also be really sheared out. So for me, that's essential when I only have 3 mattes, because I can make one matte look like 2 or almost even 3 colors sometimes just by how much you blur it out. Okay, we're going straight into another matte. This is Mango Tea from Sydney Grace. I think, did either Kendra or Kara use this one last month? I feel like we've seen Mango Tea make an appearance recently, with good reason. It's a beautiful, like, you know, dusky mango shade. I think it just gives a nice bit of warmth, and I don't know, I think it's just like very versatile. So I thought that this would be a good one to pop in here. So again, that's Mango Tea from Sydney Grace. This next one, I think this was one of the first shades that I chose out. I knew I was gonna want this one. This is Celesta from Devinah. I love this shade. I have used her so many times, that just so transformative, and you can use it in a lot of different ways. And for me, this really is almost that like garnet. And it's funny because at first I was like, well, it's almost more like peridot because that sheen that's in it, but then the base is really almost more like garnet. So I feel like this sort of, you know, hits both of those, because that base is that like ambery pretty shade, but then it's got this like greeny shift to it. Love this one so much. I have a feeling this is going to be a shade that I hit pan in. At some point in time, this is going to get some pan. Another Devinah shade. This is the shade Magellanic or Magellanic. I would say Magellanic, but I could totally be saying this wrong. So this one is just, I love the vibrancy of this one. And again, that shimmer and iridescence really brings forth that like faceted jewel vibe to me. So I think this is one that you could pair with warm tones. You could pair it with cool tones. This has almost that like, I would say like garnet, but like garnet with like warm light hitting it. So pretty. And again, I'll be showing you all of these up close because you have to see the magic. This next one, she is a hot mess. She's a hot mess, but she's worth it. This is the shade Fashion for Success from Glam Shop. Let me see if you can even see. Let me see if I can get a good look at that. So this shade is one of the marble shades, which I don't think that they're selling anymore, which kind of bums me out because they are pretty special, but I also understand it because a lot of people are not going to want to deal with this. I'm going to zoom this one in nice and close. I don't think that you could really see that. But this shade is a mix of, I would say, like that ruby red and a gold flake. So this to me is like, and you'll see Magellanic and this one next to each other. This one is warmer. Like this is almost like, it's like jewels on fire. Like you can see it has more of a red base, but it has that like gold, almost like slightly ambery shift to it. Very metallic, very, very creamy and thick though. So you have to be careful when you use these to really like use a thin amount, blend them out nicely, but they are so beautiful. So you can see that that's the base of that tone. They're very pretty. You can also like tap them on for like a multi-reflective flaky look, but you know me, I don't get down with that. All right, the third and final matte is another one from the Sydney Grace mystery bag. I believe I got the dark blue bag. This is Crashing Waves. Such a stunning shade. This is, I mean, I guess if I was truly sticking with jewel tones for like every shade, I should have picked something a little bit more, a little bit less murky, I guess. Like this is definitely like a slightly murky navy, but I wanted something with that depth. And I wanted something that was like a more comfortable to wear blue for me, but I also knew I wanted a deepening shade that wasn't a black for this palette. Like black would have been a total, you know, a total just like, what do you call that? A total like phone it in. Yeah, it would have been a phone it in. I think that's the phrase. At any rate, I didn't want that. I wanted something with just like a little bit more personality to it. So I'm excited to use that one. All right, and then here, this is almost like to represent like emeralds on the ocean. This is Exosphere from Devinah. Let me see if I can get a good swatch that like shows her majesty. I think you can see there. You have almost like a teal, like that bluey teal into more of a green and almost like a lighter green. Oh, so pretty and so creamy. I mean, obviously, if you haven't tried an Aurora Flare from Devinah, you really need to. You really, really need to. They are beautiful. They are so wonderful. I mean, you know that I love Devinah eyeshadows. And by the way, if you do want to shop any of these Devinah shades, you can use my code KeepBeautyReal. It is not affiliated. And I do know that the Aurora Flare shades are excluded from that, but pretty much any of these other shades would be included. But definitely pick up an Aurora Flare. If you're shopping and you haven't gotten one already, please, please, please do yourself a favor. At any rate, let's get into this last shade here. Let me find a clean finger if I can get one. This last shade, I wanted it to represent, again, sort of like the light coming through the facets, really more of like a shimmery effect, but really it's almost just like to represent the feel of some of those like lighter jewels. This is Light Year. You probably can't even see the magic in the palette, but you will see it once I get it swatched. So this one, you know, when you first blend it on, especially here next to Exosphere, it has that green base to it, but it does have like a lighter yellow. It actually has a bit of like a pink. I don't know if you can even see that over here. I'll make sure that you can see it once we zoom in, but this I think is going to work. Oh, look what I just did there. This is going to work with a lot of the shades because it's one of those that'll definitely like pick up what you use it with. Look at that. That is so beautiful. I think I did a good job. Go Kelly. I was unsure, but now having them again all swatched next to each other, I'm really happy. So let me show you the majesty of these up close real quick. All right, starting at the wrist, we have Acrylic Ice from Glam Shop. Then we have Let's Cuddle from Sydney Grace. We have Bambi from Devinah, Mango Tea from Sydney Grace, Celesta from Devinah, Magellanic from Devinah. Here we have Fashion for Success from Glam Shop. There you can see how like creamy and pigmented that one is. Then we have Catching Waves from Sydney Grace, Exosphere from Devinah right here. And then this one is Light Year from Terra Moons, which I'm not sure if I actually said it was from Terra Moons before, but here, especially if I like shift here, you can see, I mean, that like majorly green blue, but then it has that almost like pink to yellow in it. And of course, you can see the beauty of Exosphere as well. Okay, it would have helped. It would have helped to have the camera going just now. Sorry. So what I've done is I've gone through with the shade Catching Waves. That's obviously the one from Sydney Grace. And I'm using the new brush from BK Beauty, the 212. I do have a full review on the new core extension on my channel. I think if all went well, it went up yesterday. But I'm using the eye brushes today. But if you want to see demo of all the brushes, you can go ahead and check that video out. Of course, all my opinions, I've used it with several different products, several different ways and days. So you can check that one out. But we're going to get back to blending. It's been a while since I have worn a really deep smoky eye, like a while. There's something about like fall for me. Like sometimes in the winter, I just feel so blah that I need actually like bright, like give me all the bright. So I feel like fall, we're still having fun. We got sweater weather, you know, all that stuff. So for me, this time of year is like great. And then I can always pair it with like a warm lip or like a really warm blush or something to like enliven the face a little bit. But I'm really gonna enjoy wearing something quite different today. And you can see that this Sydney Grace shade, I mean, the Sydney Grace mattes blend out so nicely. At first, when I wasn't filming yet, I did just blend out and like showed just how sheer you could get this shade if you really wanted it to, but it does build up really nicely. Now taking the BK Beauty 203, this is actually one of the original line, but I wanted the bit bigger flat shader because we're gonna put that Let's Cuddle shade, that shimmery navy blue, all over the lid, so this will just be a quick, easy swipe and go. And I am using this on a damp brush, partially to, you know, prevent the fallout, but also just to intensify this. Ooh, okay, yeah, you can see, hopefully you can see, it's definitely more vibrant on the lid. Wow, like the depth of this shade makes the matte almost look like whispery. I'm definitely gonna build it up a little bit more, like right where these two shadows meet. All right, now that I have the lid shade on, I'm gonna go back through with that matte just right above that and like deepen it in, because like, I mean, like I said, it just looks so intense. I want to make sure to build up a little bit of more intensity right where those two meet. A lot of you know that I usually end up saying, oh, I've got to go to yoga after this, because I do a lot of my filming on Tuesdays and I have a Tuesday night yoga class that I try to get to every single week. And you'll have to let me know. You'll have to let me know at the end of this video, like, would you have worn this look to yoga or would you wash your face? I'm not sure what I'm gonna end up doing yet. I'm just worried. It's not even like I don't care about showing up to class wearing makeup, but I'm worried if I like get sweaty, am I gonna be like all over the place? Anyway, you'll have to let me know. How much of a risk taker would you be? Would you keep it on? So, okay, now, so I'll be honest, originally I had thought, okay, this would be like Exosphere would be so fun to pop over the top of this, right? But to really see the majesty, I mean, you'd see the foil of it, but to really see the shiftiness, you'd have to put it all over the lid. So then I was thinking about Celesta, because I love this shade. Like that would be really pretty to pop right over the center of the lid. But now I'm kind of like, I kind of want to do Magellanic, because that would be very, very pretty. Ooh, Celesta, dang, so many options. See, this is why I like this color combination, because you could take this so many ways. I have not worn this one in a long time, so I think I'm gonna go through with that one, just like, almost like a little halo moment. Now going through with the new 209 brush from BK Beauty. This is sort of like the baby brother of the one that I used on the lid shade. So I'm actually going to tap this on like a slight diagonal. Now I think if you were to lay down a glitter glue first, especially since we have that like dark blue underneath, you'd probably get like a much more pop-in tone, or if you obviously left that inner space naked, but I really just wanted like that layery effect. I still want this to be like deep. I just want it to be that like pop on the center. And then I'm just taking that same 203, not adding any more blue to it, but just sort of like smudging the edges a bit. That's fun. I seriously need to do deep smoky eyes more often. Okay, fam, I'm really liking this. I did get a little bit of fallout. Honestly, it was mostly from the Devinah shade, the Magellanic, and that's because, well, that's probably because I have a little bit on my finger here. I did just like tap like a boop close to my lash line with my finger, and I think that's probably where I got the fallout from, but that'll be easy to clean up. You can't really see it unless you're like this close to me, and the only person that's getting close to me is Jeremy. Boy, I was planning on using, okay, just to be able to use them, I'm gonna use Bambi. I'm gonna use this brown matte on the bottom and then probably blend it into the navy. All right, so I'm gonna start with the A504 from the Angie Hot and Flashy set from BK Beauty, just to get Bambi kind of like laid down and smoke it out. I just want this to be like really smudgy and smoky, and then I'm gonna go back through with the new pencil brush to like detail with the navy. Okay, I'm not sure how I like love that tone. It kind of blends out. I was like looking at my brush, it's not on the brush. That tone kind of blends out a little bit red, which I think could really go like if you're just using some of these tones here, but I don't want it to look like I've got like an eye infection. Okay, so we'll have to see how much I want to clean that up, because where it got really smoked out, it almost gets like slightly like pinky, and I don't want it to look like I've got irritated eyes. So I'm gonna go through and detail. This is the new 210 brush, a really nice little pencil brush, very, very soft. So I'm gonna run some of that navy right along the lash line. Okay, I really like that. I think what I'll probably end up doing is just cleaning up and keeping it a little bit more sharp. Like still keeping that Bambi, but just keeping it a little bit more sharp. So I might as well just wait until I'm done though, because then I can like clean up any fallout that's there and just like run a little bit of concealer there, no big deal. All right, I think I'm gonna do that because I wanna clean up right here a little bit where that blue smoked out. I thought about just keeping this like really dark on the inner corner, but I think I'm gonna add that pop. I think I'm gonna add light year so you can see what that looks like. Be right back. While you were gone, I went ahead and re-brightened up that area. I just went through with the Lancome Teinty Dole, just because that was what was sitting out. And then, like I said, I did just kind of like clean that up. I also added a bit of black liner to my waterline, just went through with the Urban Decay. And that was pretty much it. I think I did end up, after cleaning up, just went through with that brush and like blend it out just a little bit right here to sort of like soften that edge. All right, so now we're gonna make that inner corner pop. Taking the BK Beauty 207 brush, and with a dry brush, I'm just like popping this on here. Sorry if you can hear a pressure washer going. We're almost done here, but Jeremy's son is pressure washing outside. We have mud everywhere. It's a long story, but we have got a lot of mud. Okay, so I think this shade is really pretty. I have to be honest, my ideal palette is never just gonna be 10 shades. It's always gonna be like 12 to 16. If that were the case, I would have thrown in a shade that was like a light iridescent, you know, something that had like a pink flip to it, just to go with like, if I didn't wanna put the greens in. Like if I had done either, like honestly, if I had done either Celesta or Exosphere on the lid, I think that this would have been like the perfect for that. It still goes, it's just like a beautiful contrasting pop, but I probably would have like something with like a little bit of a pink or like a violet shimmer to it. Oh, no Gomez from Devinah. That would have been gorgeous in here, but that's not what we picked. I only have 10 choices, y'all. I only have 10 choices. I'm gonna put on some mascara. I'm probably gonna like add a little bit, like maybe a pinky blush or something. I'm not sure. Find a lip, I'll be right back. Right, here we are with the finished look, the finished jewel tone look, and I'm feeling very jewel toned, and I feel like the navy blue has really like bumped me, I wouldn't say out of my comfort zone, because like a navy blue is like the one way I enjoy wearing blue, but it's definitely brought me back to like, oh yeah, I do really like a deep smoky eye, and I think the bright inner corner sort of balances it out. I did add a bit of blush. You can just see how it's like slightly more cool toned. This is Ethereal Glow from Hourglass, obviously, and it just added a little bit more of that, again, like cool tone. Went over, I just had like a warm Flower Beauty blush on, so I feel like it just sort of like neutralized it a little bit. The lip is a Bite Beauty thing that I've just been trying to use. This is the shade Rhubarb. All right, yes, I definitely love this eye look. I really enjoy this. I would definitely wear this again. I think I would change out the inner corner, but I do also like the contrasting pop. And I do think that this palette has a lot of potential. I mean, a lot of different ways that you could go with this. You could pair these three warm tones together. You could pop, again, of course, the green and the blue. I mean, Celesta is gonna go really well with a lot of these different shades. I'm gonna have fun playing with this one. If there's a morning where I get up and I'm like, I kind of want colorful, I don't know what I want to grab, this will just sit out on my vanity for a while and I'll be able to pull it out and play with it. So I hope you've had fun getting to see this as well. I cannot wait to see what everyone else picks for this one. I think that this is one that could go a lot of different ways, so I will be really curious. Now, if you are watching and you're not a content creator, but you want to dive on into doing this build your own palette, please go ahead and tag us on Instagram. I would love to see what you come up with. You can tag me at Keep Beauty Real. And then if you are a content creator and you want to do this one this month, please feel free. We would love to have you join in. And if you let me know, I would be more than happy to add you to the playlist that I've created if you're curious about next month. So next month we will be doing a winter wonderland. I'm excited for this one because I'm gonna try to push myself. I'm gonna try to push myself to use some shades in my collection that I haven't used yet, and ones that I think are gonna really represent that theme for me. So it's gonna be a fun one. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. And make sure that you go check out Kara's video, Kendra's video. I'm not sure who else is doing this one, but I'll have them all linked down below. So I think this has been a very fun one. Thank you so much, lovelies, for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. I have a lot of fun digging through my collection every month. A little stress, but a lot of fun trying to come up with these, and it really does help me realize what is in my collection, you know, especially coming up on Black Friday. I think it's good to sort of like go through the single stash to see, like, do I really need to buy any singles out there? Honestly, I've been holding off on most of the new releases, waiting for Black Friday, and now I'm kind of like, is there anything that I really need to get? Like, is there anything that's gonna fill some void in my collection? Maybe not. So I encourage you to do the same. This has been a lot of fun. Don't forget to give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and I will see you really soon.